All right, let's dive in. Today we are talking about something absolutely critical for any parent, that partnership between you and your child's school. We're going to map out how that relationship has to change, from those first day of kindergarten jitters all the way to them walking across that graduation stage.
So, let's start with the big question that frames everything else. How is your job as a parent supposed to change as your kid grows up? Because let's be honest, it is not a static role. The way you need to show up in first grade is totally different from how you need to show up in 11th grade. And you know what? Getting that shift right is everything.
So why do we even care so much about this partnership? Well, the research here it's overwhelming. I mean, the CDC has looked at this, and when schools and families are on the same team, the results for students are massive. We're talking higher grades, better attendance, and healthier emotional development. It literally sets them up for a better life long after they're done with school.
Okay, Section 1, the Orosco model. So to help us get our heads around this whole journey, we're going to use a really simple but super powerful little framework. Think of it like a map that shows you exactly where you should be focusing your energy at each stage.
It's called the Arasco model of collaborative stakeholder interdependence. Yeah, I know it's a bit of a mouthful, but the idea behind it is actually super simple. It just helps us visualize the three key players. That's the parent, the teacher, and the student. And it shows us how their relationships have to shift over time.
So let's look at that first phase, right? Kindergarten all the way through 9th grade. The model is a simple triangle connecting the teacher, parent, and student. But look closely. Where's that circle? It's drawn tightly around you, the parent, and the teacher. This right here, this is the engine. This relationship is what drives your child's success in these early years.
Okay, now let's fast forward to grades 10 through 12. Watch this. The circle moves. Now it's connecting the teacher and the student directly. You're still a vital corner of that triangle, no doubt about it, but that primary relationship, the one that really starts to build independence, is now between your child and their teacher.
Seeing these two side by side just makes it all click, right? In those early years, you're in the driver's seat right alongside the teacher, steering the ship together. But once you hit high school, your role has to change. You've got to move from being the driver to being more like the coach on the sidelines, empowering your student to take the wheel themselves and build that direct line to their teacher.
All right, Section 2, the foundation years. So let's really dig into this first phase. What does a great partnership actually look like from kindergarten all the way through 9th grade?
The absolute bottom line here is that your connection with the teacher is the bedrock for your kid's success. This is the time for all those parent-teacher conferences, the quick email check-ins, for making sure what's expected in the classroom is also reinforced at home. That strong, united front, that's the structure young kids need to really thrive.
And, within this big phase, we've got to talk about middle school specifically. It is such a critical turning point. It's this weird paradox, right? Just when your kid is pushing for more freedom and autonomy, they actually need consistent structure and your presence more than ever. This is really where you lay that groundwork for accountability that they'll need later.
Okay, on to Section 3, the launching pad. Let's talk about those high school years. This is where your job fundamentally shifts from being a manager to being a mentor.
And the key concept here is something called the gradual release of responsibility. Now, that might sound a little academic, but it's not about just checking out. It's about strategically and thoughtfully stepping back. You're moving from managing their day-to-day homework to coaching them on how to manage their own time, solve their own problems, and advocate for themselves.
This table just sums up that shift perfectly, doesn't it? In the K-9 years, you're the manager and the supporter. Your whole goal is building that solid foundation. But then in high school, you morph into the mentor and coach. Now your goal is all about fostering independence, helping them set their own goals and find their own voice.
Section 4, always a team mission. Okay, so through all of these changes, all these shifting roles, there is one thing that stays exactly the same. Every single year, every single grade.
And it's this incredibly powerful idea right here. You and the school are a team. You are not adversaries. The second that team breaks down, you know who gets caught in the middle? The student. The goal always is to present that strong, united front.
So let's just wrap this whole journey up. In those early years, K through 9, it's all about deep collaboration and structure. In middle school, you've got to double down on accountability. Then in high school, you shift to coaching and you start handing off that responsibility. But through it all, what's the one constant? Stay visible, stay engaged, and stay in partnership.
So we'll leave you with this one last thought. Your child's education, it really is a team sport.
And your position on that team has to change over the seasons. So the real question is, what position are you playing right now? And maybe more importantly, are you ready for the one you're going to have to play next?